delve into and talk about this morning, I wanted to start with Chelsea today, actually, because there are reports from Germany that their deal for Gittins, although it is stated that he has prioritized Chelsea, Bayern Munich are now reportedly going to make a play and could be prepared to pay the asking price to Dortmund that Chelsea refused to pay. This is also coupled with Fabrizio's update that they will not be revisiting the Mike Mignon deal, and that they are going to, this is only what Fabrizio said, there are counter arguments to this, but Fabrizio has stated they are fully behind the goalkeepers that stay at the club. Not a good couple of days if you're a Chelsea fan reading the transfer news, gents.
No, not at all. I think Chelsea, at the start of the window and, at the start of the month, I was like, yeah, maybe not bottle job. They're not billionaire bottle jobs no more. We started to call them billionaire bandits because they're doing good moves. They're sneaking out. They're getting players on a cheap, but good players. Now it's really starting to look like the typical Chelsea again, where it's a scattergun approach. They don't really have their eye on one player. They got their eye on about 50, but they're not sure which one of those deals they want to trigger. They tend to start triggering deals when other clubs get involved. So I wouldn't be surprised if for this Bino Gittins deal, they just end up paying the money Dortmund want to get over the line. Because I know personal terms have been agreed for some time. But I think with regards to the goalkeeper situation, it's just an absolute mess. I think it's been very clear to see, not from the Chelsea fans, but from rival fans as well, that their goalkeepers has been probably one of the biggest reasons as to why they finished where they did last year, because they could have pushed on and been a bit better. But Sanchez conceded probably about 5, 6 or 7 important goals that have led to them to sort of have that downfall in form they did between January and April. So I think it's very clear to see that they could have an improvement in goal. To see that a goalkeeper like Mainan is available is just crazy in the first place. Like, he's available 20 million. They paid 20 million for Jorgensen. I'm pretty sure they got 7 goalkeepers on their books that in total they've paid about 70 million for. That he's better than every single one of them. So it makes no sense why they're haggling over 20 million fee euro, especially when the players said, I want Chelsea. I want to come to the club. That should be more than a reason to, let's bring him in. We'll sell 1 or 2 of the other goalkeepers to fund this deal. It makes so much sense. But with Chelsea, you just never know what's going on at that board level. It's just a mess.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you actually look at the Chelsea team, they did well. They got Champions League last year. Their ambition of where they wanted to be was probably exactly what they achieved. I think goalkeeper and centre forward are probably the 2 areas most Chelsea fans feel like they need to improve on. And the fact that they can get someone for 20 million, I'm almost certain they paid 25 million for Sanchez as well from Brighton. So it just doesn't make sense that they're not going out and strengthen the 2 areas that they can obviously do. I think the lap coming in will help them in the forward area, but I still think most Chelsea fans will want to get in another striker. I think Jackson, a lot of them are fed up with the antics that have gone on with him. They maybe don't want to see him in the team. And I think if they get in another striker, obviously talk of Osimhen, and I think Gittins maybe added to the squad will help. But yeah, it's a weird situation. I think it is very different because the Chelsea that I grew up watching was Abramovich. It was like, we buy players to win things. We buy players to go out and to get us over the line in certain situations. And I think this new model that they have is something that, I don't know, I feel like I'm trying to adapt to it. I don't think they're serial winners in the way that they want. It's more like a business. And I think that's something that they have to kind of adjust to as fans, which is probably not what they want to hear.
Yeah, I sort of look at it from it's one of those things for me where I feel like Gittins, I still think they'll get done. Fabrizio has stated, along with a number of others, that he really wants Chelsea. And Dortmund, if they can help it, this might help Chelsea actually with Gittins, that Dortmund don't really want Bayern Munich getting him. The other German teams don't really want their best players ending up at Bayern Munich. So they may turn around and think, well, do you know what? If Munich come in at 45 million and Chelsea have offered 42, maybe we'll revisit that and just say, yes, the difference of 3 million euros might be worth it for them to not have Bayern Munich get him. But if the opposite happens and we end up in a situation whereby Chelsea do miss out on Gittins, who are they then going to move for as an example? Because they don't look to be targeting too many players that are overly expensive in terms of the fee being gargantuan. They don't look like they want to give out big wages at this moment. So for instance, the reason they've frozen conversations with Ekitike is the €100 million asking price and the salary demand. One of the reasons that Arsenal are pulling back from Šeško is that for a player that a year ago agreed to the terms, but just wanted to delay the move by a year, what he's now asking for in salary is too much. I can't imagine Chelsea paying someone like him that kind of money. They don't appear to want to, that's why Garnacho's on their list, because he's currently on £50,000 a week. Therefore, he would probably be willing to accept 100k, 120. But anyone who's already earning 150 plus to move to Chelsea, they're going to want a lot more money than that because of the space they're in. So that's the only fear point I think Chelsea fans should have on this is if Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich, one thing is Bayern Munich can turn his head. There is no doubt about it. Bayern Munich have the ability to turn Gittins' head because they are who they are. And that's not a dig at Chelsea. It's just the reality of the situation. They're a giant club. He's already in Germany enjoying his football. That could happen for him. The Mike Mignon thing is going to be the most interesting one. I spoke about it yesterday. Simon Phillips and a few other Chelsea in the knows have said that Fabrizio's, they haven't quoted Fabrizio, but they've essentially said his reporting isn't as they understand it, that they may revisit Mike Mignon later in the window, and they are looking at other goalkeeping options. So they may go back in for it, but I suppose it's Chelsea fans, it feels really up and down at the minute. You know, when they won their opening game against LAFC, the lap was through the door. They were linked to some players. It was like, I think still good. You fast forward a week, there's some hijacks in the offering that their reports are they're not going to sign a new goalkeeper, and they get comprehensively battered 3-1. Jackson gets himself sent off, and suddenly there is this kind of nervousness and this frustration surrounding Arsenal again. So, sorry, Chelsea again. So yeah, look, they're in an interesting situation at the minute. Did you guys watch the game the other day as well? Did you see their match?
No, I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, no, I caught little bits of it, but didn't actually watch the full game.
Yeah, they were really poor. By and large, that they were really poor. And I'm not taking anything away from Flamengo, who played brilliantly. They did. And I'm not even trying to play down the Brazilian league. I think the Brazilian and South American teams seem so up for this. They're so up for it. It's unbelievable. Chelsea should still be beating them, though. How do I say this in the right way? Like, Jorginho starts in midfield for them. And I think that Jorginho is a very good player, but it tells you the current level they're at. If that's someone I would want to bring back in.
Terry, been really impressed though with the way like the Brazilian. We always knew the technical level in Brazil is way high. Like we already knew that, but how they're actually playing in the games, how quick they're moving the ball, they're playing out from I've been surprised how competent they are against the bigger sides, because especially on the ball, they are so good, and like they're matching the level of the likes of Chelsea. You've seen Real Madrid, PSG, like they're getting matched, man for man. And when you're seeing them build out from the back, it's quick, it's good. Their actual football is good. Obviously, the level of player and quality is below, but the football itself is really good.
It's good. And I'm actually taking nothing away from them. I think Rango here says passion and heart. They're coming into this tournament to win it, and the South American sides always took the World Club Cup when it was just that short tournament in December. They always took it seriously. I think that there is a bit of frustration in South America that so many of their young talent now, it's different from years gone by, sort of the 90s backwards, where a lot of their main talent stayed in Brazil for a lot longer. Now you're seeing 15, 16-year-olds leave and go, as opposed to when they used to come over, they'd do 2, 3, 4, 5 years and then move across to Europe. Not always. I mean, R9 came across quite young as an example, but they seem to do more time in Brazil back then. But they're up for it. And I think some of the European teams have been caught a little flat-footed and maybe a little bit arrogant, a little bit of arrogance of, well, we're the strongest continent. And club-wise, I do think that there's truth in that. If you put the top 10 South Americans and the top 10 European teams in a league, I do think you'd get some of the South Americans in the top 10, but I think most of the top 10 would be European sides over the course of a season. But yeah, they've been excellent. The football's been good. They've attacked. It's ironically, their club sides in Brazil have impressed me more than the national team have done in years gone by. Like, they're actually attacking and playing nice football, and they look really, really good. And Chelsea were just caught cold. They almost like they didn't know what to do. a little bit. And same with the PSG game the other day. I mean, PSG, so it's not even a Chelsea dig. PSG lost. And, even yesterday with Madrid, I know they won 3-1. Better finishing from, is it like Pancho? Better finishing from them. And they should have been leading. Courtois saved them on a number of occasions. And I know the red card helped. But they're up for it. They're the teams that have actually made the World Club Cup palatable for me. Like the South American and Central American teams have been excellent.
Yeah, I think I'd say I know. So I can see some people saying in the chat as well. The South American team, they're obviously at different points in the season. I think there is an arrogance about the European teams and the fact that they've obviously had the climax of their season where they might be taking their foot off the gas a little bit. And I think some new players, like you look at Trent coming into the team, he's obviously still adjusting to Real Madrid and stuff. So I think there is that, but I definitely do think the Brazilian teams are giving it a good go, because if they say that revenue that they generate from the Club World Cup would be huge for them if they were one of them were to go on and win it. You know what I mean? So I think it makes sense for them to put a lot more into it, and I think it's obviously Madrid, Chelsea. They obviously want to win it for their financial aspects, but it's not as big if they were to win it in terms of the revenue that generates for their respective clubs. So I think anything can happen, and I think we've seen some of the results that has obviously have happened so far. So I think in terms of making it palpable, it has definitely made it more enjoyable. Like the fact that the European teams aren't just like walking over other teams in the league, other than Bayern Munich winning 10-0.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've got to agree with that. I think seeing some of the big Europeans, even when we saw Real Madrid draw with Al Hilal, seeing a Saudi side play some good football and actually be the better team for some point, it's like, okay, it's a reality check that Europe, although we are ahead of a lot of the league, we aren't as much ahead as a lot of people think. A lot of people think the gap is like night and day, and it doesn't seem like that anymore. So it's actually refreshing. It's proper refreshing to see.
No, I agree. I think it is. I'm enjoying seeing it. And Lawrence here says that the Club World Cup was just before it started, and quite a few European players and coaches believe the hype. I think but it's also dismissed because it's a lot of times in life, new things get dismissed. A lot of the time, we all did it with the Super League. The knee-jerk reaction was, no, this is terrible. But I actually think if they went ahead with it by now, it'd be the norm, and we'd all be watching it and would be reacting to it and doing content on it as an example. I just think that there were things, the planning around this was poor. They've also hosted it in a nation the country isn't that interested in it. And that's an important factor. This happens actually quite a bit in World Cups where the host nation goes out. Often a lot of interest locally in it is taken away. I don't think it helps having it on Channel 5 and DAZN being a streaming network, so you can't just put it on the television. I think all these things are there, but that's because the TV companies here in the UK and many similar across Europe, they did their research, and the viewers are like, not that interested. And so it's a little bit of a combination. Are our clubs underplaying it because they know the fans are underplaying it? It becomes a little bit of a cycle where I think in South America, I think the Middle East clubs, I think this is a chance for them to prove themselves. It's a chance to generate organic income to help them grow and develop and maybe hold on to some stars. But I'm starting to enjoy it more and more now that it's opening up and everything else. And the last set of group games over the next 4 days, then it's the knockouts. I think the knockouts going to be really, really fun. So we'll be tuned in for that.